I think everybody's waiting on the Mac version. They're also waiting on Linux. I think Linux is, a lot of the early adopters of the Supernote platform feel a little bit abandoned, but I think that's been helped by the customer service that we talked about earlier. Because if you had the original A5 or the original A6, those were Linux based platforms. They didn't have Kindle, they didn't have Android, and so they didn't have all of the functionality. They did most of the things that this device does, but they didn't have those key features. And with this adoption and move to even more Android based with the A6X2 and now the A5X2 and hopefully the A4 X2 later this year, then you're going to have this idea that they gave existing users of those early first generation devices 50% off of the new products. That's an amazing value to kind of keep people in the fold and show them that you do care and that it's important and that you want to fit their use case. I don't think color's ready yet. I think that really the big McGalley was probably the future of color technology because that was the e-ink, which is the only provider of e-ink screen technologies to all of these devices. That was them really trying to bring what you see in digital signage to a small device for productivity. And from everyone who's had that device is just, it doesn't work. You get horrible ghosting. The amount of lag and slowdown on it doesn't work. So in the interim, and I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole of Galley, but I've not seen one positive review on it that I can think of top of mind. Right now, what we have is Kaleido, and Kaleido is a middle ground. So it's not great, it's not awful. Books probably handles it better than anyone else because it has, although I've seen Big Me's coming up on their heels, but it has that super refresh technology. But then you lose that battery life, which is so important in the e-ink space. The reason you get one of these devices is because I only have to charge this once a week, maybe twice if I go to a conference. And that's super cool. I don't have to charge it all the time. But with this color layer and then what you have to do to mitigate the ghosting, I think that that could really cause an issue. So those are my thoughts. I'm torn on this one when it comes to the scroll. Um, there is the ability to kind of scroll through the pages this way, and I don't know if you've seen this. And this is, kind of the way that you can scroll pages now. And of course, I only have two pages on this one, so it's not going to work great. But you can kind of scroll through this way, or you can use these side buttons to kind of be able to visually see and move a little faster than the two-page swipe. But at the same time, it's not the infinite scroll, which it sounds, or not infinite scroll, but the swipe scroll that you're maybe talking about from the Remarkable and books or something like that. It still keeps you in the page view. I personally like the page view and I like having separate pages, and I think that has to do with my affinity for notebooks. But at the same time, I understand the utility. And one nice thing about Supernote is that they allow you to engage the device in ways that may not be useful for me, or at least to my thinking when they roll out, but they do come through.